We're here. We're back. Carteret COnnects. Mike McHugh, that's me. Richard Clark, that's him. News director for the Carteret News-Times. And thank you for joining us on this beautiful 2 days of spring left.
Yes.
When did spring start? When did it? It's ending on Saturday.
It was a gorgeous morning, though. It's
gorgeous this morning. Yeah, blue sky now. It's overcast. It looks like overcast in over Morehead City. But yeah, the moon was a crescent moon. It was gorgeous.
Was it?
Yeah, 5:30 in the morning. But
I went to sleep like really early, so
I did. Well, I was off yesterday, and I slept through that entire monsoon that swept through Carteret County and Onslow County on Tuesday and Wednesday morning. People tell me it was pretty strong.
Yeah.
I slept through it. And woke up the next morning. I'm driving by the gas station at the Handy Mart in Swansboro, and the roof had lifted off.
Well, I heard that was water weight, is what I heard. I don't know how true that is.
No, that's, you know what, though?
Yeah,
you're right.
that's what I heard.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't report it. We didn't report
Okay.
it.
Okay. I had seen some stuff blown around in another parking lot, but I'm trying to think. Is it dipping down? I think it is dipping down.
Yeah, it looks like it's
down.
bent.
Okay, maybe there was
maybe one corner where water ran on. I don't know. You see that a lot with snow stuff in the north. So
in water, what's a gallon of water weigh? 8 pounds.
Oh, it's
8 pounds.
Did that much?
Check me out. If you're right, you win a free prize if you get that right. By the way, we're gonna do this once we figure out how we're gonna do this. But put up a question to the audience.
Give away some free food.
And we are identifying a couple different fast food outlets that may participate in this fun, and you'll have to go there and get it. So,
sponsorship talks.
Yeah. So big dollars here. We're going places with this podcast because we think there's more people listening to this than just our two mothers, which we know they are.
Yeah.
I got to turn the volume up high for my mother. What did you just say?
Yeah, we probably need to get subtitles.
She'll say, speak slower, more slowly, Michael. Speak slow. So, no, listen, I was looking up just quickly before we came on here about, we had talked in earlier episodes about Bonanza, the TV show. It started in 59 and it ran through 73. Wow. It was on NBC.
14 years.
And it was the longest running Western-styled show on NBC, second only to Gunsmoke, which was on CBS.
When did that go off there?
73.
I wonder if that led to the spaghetti Western era. Because that's late 70s, right?
Hey, no. I think Sergio Leone with Clint. Mm-hmm. I think he was in the 60s with the spaghettis, and then Dirty Harry.
So maybe it's the other way around.
Yeah.
Some of that led to that.
Maybe. Wonder if Clint Eastwood's going to have to apologize for his Dirty Harry character.
Oh, man.
I hope not.
No, you don't have to. Clint's done some really good stuff regarding some of that. Yeah, his Gran Torino was a great movie.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Well, I was thinking about Gunsmoke, and not Gunsmoke. I was thinking about Bonanza. I like Bonanza. I think that's probably one of those you put up there. Are you a Gunsmoke or are you a Bonanza guy? And
I just like the name Fester.
Yeah, that was
from Gunsmoke.
I think there's like that with Addams Family and Munsters, right?
Oh, good point. Yeah,
I think there are. I think Jetsons, Flintstones.
I think I was a Munsters.
I was a Munsters more than that. Addams Family was more dark. Munsters was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the lead in the Munsters was Fred Gwynne. Mm-hmm. And I mean, when you hear the name Fred Gwynne or saw him, because he had that that Herman laugh, he was always remembered as Herman.
Right.
He hated being known as Herman because he was a stage actor before he went into Munsters.
The woman that was the wife in the Munsters,
Yvonne DeCarlia,
was absolutely gorgeous in her younger days.
Yeah.
Google that if you're
lead
under
actress
50.
Yvonne DeCarlia.
Oof.
Yeah.
I happened to be watching something really old, and I must have been at my mother's house, and I don't know why I was watching it, and I was like, "Wow, who is that?" And my mom told me, and I was like, "What?"
Because their faces, I mean, it was in black and white, but their faces were, I don't know, they weren't green, but the Munsters were different.
No,
color.
they were pale. Like, she was a vampire.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be a little green.
Yeah. Because he was made by Grandpa.
Right. So
it's great. Think about that. And then you had Pugsley.
Yeah.
And what was the girls Tuesday?
No,
Wednesday. That's the Addams Family.
That's Addams Family. It was the blonde-haired girl.
No. Wait, Munsters. Eddie. It was Eddie.
Yeah, it was Eddie.
Eddie Munster.
And the blonde-haired girl that was a teacher.
Maryland.
Yeah.
Now I wonder what if you said Yvonne DeCarlia was gorgeous, and she was. I wonder how the two. How Maryland, because she was pretty. Mm-hmm. Just that girl next door, what's her name on Gilligan's Island?
Yeah.
I
guess that's what you had to do back.
She was the oddball. because she was pretty.
Right. No, normal. She was normal.
She was normal. She was normal. She was the nephew, or she was the niece.
Yeah.
Of Herman and Lily.
And they treated her as such, like, oh.
Yeah, she was like the redheaded stepchild. Yeah. She was gorgeous. I remember she would bring dates over to the house. and then what lived under the steps was that's
Adam's family.
They had the dragon, the lizard
Yes,
thing under
that's
the desk.
right.
That was his pet.
Wow, I haven't seen.
And all you saw was its back.
Wonder why they never redid that.
What?
Monsters. They redid Adam's Family, which actually the first one wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Ronald Julia did a fantastic job.
He had Al. Grandpa was Al Lewis.
In the remake or
no, in the original, and he was in Car 54. I think he was the cop in Car 54. Al Lewis. And so I mean, they were all big actors coming into it, except for Eddie, because he was he was a kid. Yeah.
Okay. I got you.
Eddie Munster. Yeah. And then it was Pugsley and in Adam's Family, it was Pugsley and Wednesday.
Oh,
wasn't it? The kid was named. The kid was named after that.
And that was Christina Ricci in the remake.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you had Mrs. Adams was
the old lady.
Yeah, but what were their actors?
Oh, I don't know who that was. But anyway, that was when that started. That had to be the 60s, just black and white.
In the 60s, yeah. But getting back to Bonanza, before we lose our three audience. See the number going up and down like that. That's my mom just lost.
Yeah, my mom lost.
No, Bonanza came on in '59, and they were on every week during the 60s, during the civil unrest in the 60s. And believe it or not, the writers of the show brought into the script social issues that were prominent during the time. They had a very prejudiced school teacher that was expelling students, of color out of the classroom. There was a singer that came through Carson City, and it was a black actress. And at first, wasn't welcome until Ben Cartwright. Ben was always, the patriarch of the family, but also the common sense of the community, and one of the biggest landowners. So what he said, said a lot in town. So,
speaking of, one of my shows is coming back on, I think this Sunday. Yellowstone.
Really?
Yeah, you ever watch that? No. That's great, man. Yeah, Kevin Costner.
Oh,
essentially, he owns a bunch of land up in Montana or somewhere.
Yeah.
And he deals with people trying to build into his farm ranch.
What time period is that?
Now.
Okay.
Now.
I've seen Yellow Snow. Have you seen that?
No.
Okay. It's a period piece.
No. Haven't seen Yellow Snow.
Used to see a lot of that up in Pennsylvania. I think that's where the movie was filmed.
I'm surprised that wasn't black snow.
Don't eat yellow snow.
Brown snow.
Yeah, don't eat that either. Don't eat yellow snow.
Anyway.
We used to, when it did snow, occasionally if we got outside, you spell your name.
Was it, this is going to sound bad, but was it clean up there? Because every time I rode through those areas, they always seemed a little, not dirty, but...
Ramshackle? Where are you talking about there? Pennsylvania?
Upper Pennsylvania, where they got, essentially the where they had all the steel stuff,
Well,
all through there.
No, I'll tell you a good example was, no. And the answer to your question is no. Because
right. What is it called? Is that the Rust Belt now?
No, the Rust Belt's more like
Ohio. But there was something, they were called something.
New Jersey, like above Exit 9, was the smell belt because you had all the industrial there, and they're just spewing their exhaust into the air and all that.
The steel mills and all that in Pennsylvania that they had.
No, that's Pittsburgh. The Three Rivers area.
That quarter.
That, and then also Bethlehem. We had Bethlehem Steel. And you go over to Bethlehem Steel. I mean, the buildings were built and they were black in color. But the streets and the river that went through, the Lehigh River that goes
everything
through
is
I mean, they polluted it.
And it's a lot of hilly areas.
Now, what makes it look dirty is, or maybe because if you're coming from the south here, 12 months out of the year you can see green vegetation, pine trees. It looks like it's just. Look at the movie Taxi Driver. That was filmed in Pittsburgh, I believe. Yeah,
okay.
And it's depressing looking.
Right.
Or Deer Hunter. I'm thinking of Deer Hunter, not Taxi Hunter. Deer Hunter. It's filmed in western Pennsylvania. In the wintertime, the trees look dead because there's no leaves on them. And they're hardwoods, so it's just limbs and sticks and all that. But I will say this: there was we would go up the line, so to speak, from the Lehigh Valley up to an area called Jim Thorpe. It was Munchunk. Jim Thorpe was a famous football player.
I know who Jim Thorpe is.
And there was a business up there, a company up there called New Jersey Zinc Company. They made zinc. And when you'd see the mountainside where the company was, where the prevailing winds in Pennsylvania are west to east, there wasn't a piece of grass on the hill. It was just down to the rock.
Right.
Because it was poisoned by New Jersey Zinc Company. You know, and now
they have the same problem with the cold stuff in Kentucky. You can ride through.
Oh yeah.
Some of the mountains are just stripped bare.
So you see it there. Now you go beyond that. On the other side of the mountain is this beautiful Glenanoga Falls, and the Lehigh River winds through there. And we'd go up there, and there were 3 different falls. And ironically, or sadly, they just closed it last season because I said there's 3 different falls. And there's been people hiking up there, and it's slick, and they fell off and killed themselves on the fall. So now they have it roped off. We used to go up there and just have a ball. You can imagine, you know, it was me and my 3 friends, 3 guys.
I would imagine growing up here with all the little coves and stuff. If you like being out in the water, it would be pretty interesting. Not the main stuff that you got.
I talked to a bunch of old timers. I had a conversation with Joe in Swansboro. He's 79 years old. He grew up in Swansboro. He's 79, so he was born, you know, right during the war, World War II. And he said it was just like a playground in the sense that you had this little town and it was surrounded by water. And at the time, on 24, that bridge you go across every day, the bridge I go across every day, that's the 3rd bridge going across. There was an old wooden bridge, and then the first structure, real cement structure, was in 1952. But they would jump off the wooden bridge as kids into the water. I mean, there were no regulations, and there are all these little islands out there.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And these, we would swim out to the islands or paddle out to the islands. And you know how we grew up. We had fields around our house, and we would build forts. You know,
well, that's what I mean.
Or dig holes.
When you're a little kid, you do a lot of kind of exploring like that. Yeah. And if you grew up here, you I'm sure you had some kind of flat bottom boat or something you could get around.
And they went to these islands, and it was their little island. I mean, it was their Gilligan's Island.
That's right.
Gilligan's Island was Gilligan's Island.
Yeah, I can only imagine. And the population has grown substantially in the last 20 years.
No, they had the whole run of the town. And I said, you know, it must have been neat because in this one property, you know, Swansboro, it sits a little, there's elevation, and then there's the White Oak River, and there's the Intercoastal Waterway. I said, you know, what did your parents say? They said, well, just go out and play and call them in for supper because it was everybody knew everybody.
Yeah, everybody knew everybody.
You weren't going to get in too much trouble. I mean, they all swam pretty well, so they're out playing in the water.
Yeah,
you know, and doing fishing. You know, catching clams or oysters or whatnot, whatever the season was. They must have had a ball. You know?
They must have. I mean, you know.
I mean, think about as a kid, man. I mean, growing up where I grew up and where you grew up, you got 1 week at the beach, maybe.
Yeah.
I was never into swimming in lakes.
No, we went to the beach probably 4 times a summer.
From Richmond.
But 2 of them were normally to Myrtle Beach.
Wow, that was like going to another country.
Right.
That was a big
well, what we usually try to do, and we were middle class at least, we try to do one real vacation to Florida or California where we had family. And then the other one was Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, that's neat.
And from time to time, when they were dropping me off at basketball camps, we'd swing through Myrtle Beach if we could, or Virginia Beach we did sometimes.
I'll tell you what, you know, people say like, oh, I hope that doesn't become another Myrtle Beach. You know, they were saying about that when
I loved it back then.
I thought
when they had the pavilion and all that.
Yeah, I mean,
it was pretty nice. I thought.
In fact, we went down there a couple of years ago to go to the stadium, baseball stadium, and it's nice. You know,
don't get me wrong, the beaches here, while they are very nice, Virginia Beach, even Lang Beach, and some of the ones here. When you see some of the ones in the West, you're like, whoa. Or on the Gulf side of Florida.
That's nice.
Yeah, because it's
not
just
like California. You're not talking California.
It's just different. Well, no, the Gulf side of Florida.
Oh, I love it.
And out west. If you go to the one, like the ones that where we would go, because I was born in Anaheim. It's like sand from here to across. It's good little ways, man.
But the water's colder, isn't it?
No, it's
the Pacific water.
Depends on time of year, I think.
Yeah, I was in San Diego, and the beach was rocky there. It wasn't like the long beaches like they have, like Long Beach, or in Los Angeles, in Los Angeles County.
Well, they have a lot of cove type things, particularly once you get north of LA. You'll have these little places like Santa Cruz, where Michael Todd is. The nice little beach, but the beach is only 2 miles long or something, and then it's mountains, and another little cove. I guess is how it works. But the beaches on the Gulf side of Florida are very nice.
They're beautiful.
Yeah,
I
very
could live
nice.
there.
We live there.
Yeah.
Me and Trina Hatfield, if she's out there, she's actually from Carteret County.
Really?
She's from Atlantic Beach. We lived in Fort Myers.
That's nice. Yeah, I was gonna say Fort Myers. They're all beautiful.
This was before it blew up, so it was like living in a beach town, except opposite, because the where they get the word for them, the northern people would snowbirds.
Yeah.
They would come in the summer. I mean, in the winter.
Yeah, sure.
And so during the summer, there'd be nobody there, and it was great. I mean, you could get to the beach like that,
which is Sanibel or Captiva or Fort Myers.
Yeah.
Fort Myers Beach.
Fort Myers Beach.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't afford Sanibel.
Well, we visited. We stayed there for a week. That was fun.
Cape Coral, all those little areas right there. It was gorgeous. It was like living in a beach town, except nobody was there.
I want to. My dream would be after retirement to do again Speed Week at Daytona. How does this work? February Speed Week at Daytona, and then from there stay down for spring training.
Oh man, that'd be nice.
And then when camp breaks at the end of March, swing up and do the Masters.
Oh yeah, that'd be very nice.
Can't get into. I mean, it's impossible to get into the Masters now.
Yeah,
they're going to play that. They're going to play that tournament in the fall, and there's not going to be any change.
They got one now. They're playing.
Yeah.
They're playing today.
Yeah, they're back. They're back. But as far as the majors go, Masters was skipped over in April. It's going to be pushed into November.
Yeah, they'll have it.
I thought, you know what, it'd be cool if we talked about this. It'd be cool if the Masters fathers at Augusta just opened it up for the masses this year, for everything we've been through. They're not. It's going to be the same.
I wish they would take
I
wish they do what NASCAR did and have them like back to back the majors.
Yeah.
I'd love that.
Yeah.
Like back to back weekends.
Yeah.
You got the Masters, the U.S. Open, the British Open. Boom, boom, boom. I would love that.
Well, I would give a little. I would give a little space to the British Open just for travel.
Oh yes, okay, that's fine.
Why can't they?
But I think it'd be good.
Why
for
can't
the sport.
they do a third? Okay, they got to come in on Monday. It would be like 2 weeks of intense golf, a week off, and then do the British.
And I think that's one of the problems with those sports is that they don't have. I would love it.
I would love it.
I would love it. Tennis could do the same thing.
Yeah,
I'd love that. Imagine playing on. I guess because it's 2 weeks for their tournaments. Can you imagine playing grass, clay, hard court within a 2-month period?
Fun. And those guys and gals, they're in shape.
Oh
tennis.
yeah,
they can handle
tennis
it.
is.
And golf, come on. I mean, there's mental stress in golf. As far as the physicality go,
they can do it.
They can do it.
But I will say, number one, hardest sport I've ever played, and I've played them all of them. Lacrosse, ice hockey, the whole nine.
Swimming.
I can't really swim, so yeah.
Well, that is a sport.
It is absolutely a sport. Make no mistake.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoy the Olympics when they're ready, mainly because the Americans win a lot.
Yeah,
But,
that's our sport. That's our sport. The few we have left. Yeah.
But golf is intensely hard to be really good, and the pressure. I mean, you see these guys just fold up. You don't really see that in any other sport.
No.
You think about the other sports when they're pros.
Yeah.
You just don't see them fold
You don't
up.
see like Stefan, clank one,
Right.
Like we do,
I mean,
or miss a layup,
you see, you don't see a pitcher in the World Series just throw it completely over the backstop, But in golf, you will see that.
Yeah, and that's why people like us or myself.
That's why I enjoy it.
I enjoy it because I like to see them get a snowman or a 10.
If it's halfway
how
close.
How do they do that? Watch it. Here's his first shot. I've done that. I've been there.
And I've told you this off the record, but one of my dreams is to go to the British Open at one of those really hard courses, with the pothole bunkers, and play for real.
Oh.
Keep a real score.
200.
160 at least.
Oh yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
I'm just curious as to how bad I really am because I know I'm bad. But
the frustrating thing about golf is anybody can hit the ball once. You know what I'm saying? So you hit it off the tee. And it's like it goes out there. Then you chunk.
Well,
it's like, how did I make that last shot? And now look at me. I look stupid.
True story. I went with a ex-girlfriend. We played at Myrtle Beach. Her father, at the time I was 25. Her father was probably 55. Mm-hmm. His commanding officer played with us, who was probably every bit of 75. So we go out there, and I'm smoking the ball. Whoosh! but it's doing that thing.
Yeah, tailing off.
The old man,
150, 150,
straight down the middle.
It's old man golf.
And he destroyed me.
It's old man golf.
He destroyed me. I was so appalled by the turn when I looked at the score. Like, how is this even possible?
You think about it. If you birdied or if you bogeyed every hole, right, and it's a 72.
That's pretty much what he
did.
did.
It's a 90.
That's
I'll
pretty
take
much.
It. But he's just off. He's not trying to kill it.
No.
It's just get it out.
His backswing was about this long.
Yeah.
You know, boom, boom, and he just absolutely destroyed me. And I would hit him these just
you're trying to kill it.
Yeah, these monster-looking drives that started tailing into the woods.
He might as well use like a baseball bat just to hit it. You know? Get it out there. It's just.
It was. That was when I realized that golf was a little bit different.
Yeah.
Because he absolutely killed me.
Well, and now it's like I bought a set of clubs back in. I should say my company bought a set of clubs because I expensed it. I did. But my golf, the driver was about that big, the size of the mouse.
Yeah.
It was a Cleveland set. It was a nice set.
Yeah.
Now they're like the size of your
Cowboys.
They're massive. The heads. Yeah. And I get out there and they're like, "Wait, we got that little golf." You know, it's like I'm not going to spend $300 or $400 on a driver because I don't play enough.
No. If I played every day, every week, maybe so, I would do it.
Well, I'll get one of those. I get one of those almost disposable drivers.
And if I was retired and had the money, I would probably play every bit of 3 or 4 times.
I would go out to Star Hill and get one of those memberships out there. It's close to my house.
Or the country club here.
Or here. That's a hike for me. If I lived out here, I'd do that.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
If I was retired and
if I lived where you live in Jacksonville, I'd go to the Jacksonville Country Club. It's a nice it's a nice place.
I mean, any of that, you know, just because I will say this, one of the other than basketball, which I play wherever, whenever, but when you're standing in a nice morning, early in the morning where the grass is just wet, golf is pretty nice.
Yeah, it is.
It's when you realize, you know what, this is pretty nice.
You know, it's funny when I was growing up.
I guess it's like fishing when you get out there and
I guess everybody has their happy place.
Yes,
it's a happy place, you know. When I was playing, I played in high school, and I had no skill of golf other than I was athletic, but I took the golf club and held it like a baseball bat, which is, you know, and I thought to myself, you know, all I want to do is I want to get to the point where I can play in those nice, and I said this to myself, in those Carolina, I was thinking like Myrtle Beach, Hilton.
And not embarrass yourself.
And not embarrass myself and move the group along. I don't care if I shoot 110, which is about what I do. 110, 120.
That's me. I taught myself how to play golf.
I'm not going to go fish. I'm not going to take the, you know, and if I splash it into the pond, I pull another one out and I'll make a shot. But I can move it along. I know how the game should be played. I just don't have the skill to hit to be a 15 handicap. You know?
I taught myself everything I know.
Yeah. So I do that, and it's fun. And I don't let it get to me because I'm terrible.
I'm like that with every sport, save basketball. Yeah. I always said that I do not have kids, but I always worried that if I did and they wanted to play basketball, it might not be a good situation. Yeah. All the rest of them, I could take, you know, have fun, you know. Yeah. I just don't think I could do that because I look at basketball different for me. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure there's a lot of parents that have that.
What, you'd be too aggressive with you?
They're doing it wrong.
Oh, you're not doing it right.
Oh, yeah, the aggression, for sure.
You'd be one of those parents.
No, well, I wouldn't. Yeah, I would be. Yeah. Because I look at it different. Like, for instance, when I'm watching a game, I don't watch the ball. I'm looking at everything else. Mm-hmm. And I would be like that out there. If the kid wanted to play, you know, you're not going to come out there. I'm not going to have you be my kid and shoot crazy. You know, you're going to learn right. Yeah. The rest of the sports, okay. Yeah. You know, I find it interesting, too. I wonder how many parents spend time with kids, or do kids even learn how to throw? I find a alarming amount of young kids that don't know how to throw a ball.
What kind of ball?
Any ball.
Football?
You can tell as soon as they get it whether they can throw a baseball.
I don't know how I learned, but I did, and I had a gun for an arm until I got a spur in here. But no, I mean I guess you know it's like I was always throwing stuff.
That's what I mean.
I was throwing rocks.
Rocks, yes.
I was throwing dirt bombs.
Yeah.
And then snowballs.
Wicked
snowball battles.
I don't understand what's going on because I see them around at the schools and when we're covering stuff, the random kids that are not playing. And then the kids in some of the apartment complexes I've lived in. And I'm like, maybe it's because Dad's not there. I don't know, but moms can throw pretty well now with a lot of them.
Yeah,
With the softball stuff. I mean, I had a girlfriend that could really throw the ball at one point, man.
I don't know how if you had a lot of snowstorms growing up in Richmond, but we would have
Not that many.
we'd have snowball battles.
Not that
It was during when if it was a wet
Yeah,
snow,
yeah.
that was fun. And then when the snow was, after days, it's just sitting there and it's starting to melt. Then you go out and it just starts very innocently. You're just making a ball and you're throwing it against the wall and you see it stick.
Yeah.
Next thing you're hitting the telephone pole. See who can hit the pole.
Yeah.
Then it's each other. It's
We
had snowball battles and then throw up on the roof of a house. Then the cars.
True, yeah,
City-
true story. We used to
city
throw them
buses.
at cars. So what we decided to do was build a snow wall across the road. We lived in a subdivision.
Yeah.
So they had to slow down so we could really hit them.
Yeah.
So we built this wall, and when everybody gets ready, and who's the first car coming through? My dad.
You did you hit them?
Oh, they did. And I was like, uh-oh. Because my dad wasn't one of those people that you can sit on the car, and he wasn't that type of guy.
Riders.
And I just knew. So I raced him because he had to go up and around on the road, and I ran through the back so I could pretend like I wasn't a part of that.
I wasn't there. That was one of the examples that District Attorney Ernie Lee gave me as far as involuntary manslaughter. He said, okay, you're from Pennsylvania, you're throwing a snowball.
And somebody runs off the road.
Yeah, into a tree and kills himself. Guess what? Someone's responsible for that death.
Oh, good Lord.
Why'd that happen? Because you threw the snowball that caused him to go into the tree.
Yeah.
You're in the hook for involuntary manslaughter.
I
I
do.
can't tell you how many times I had attempted involuntary manslaughter
Yeah.
because, man, we'd hit the car and you'd see their brain, and then
They get mad.
They would chase after
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
And then
Yeah,
we
yeah.
did the same thing.
We did the
We'd
same
run into
thing.
the house. We're sitting inside.
We've been here all
I
day.
was inside all the time. I wasn't throwing snowballs. Meanwhile, your whole you didn't wear snowsuits. You had jeans on and boots, and your gloves.
We had a great place to ride sleighs,
Yeah.
Forest Hill, Gray Hill, that was fairly steep. And right around there was a park that the water would freeze, so we could play hockey out there. It was great.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, there's nothing like a day after it snows and you're on the hill, sledding or saucering.
Well, I was playing
Train.
ice hockey then when I was young, before our farm team left and took all that with it. But I was playing hockey, and it was great. I loved hockey. That was my first sport.
We trade in college. We took the cafeteria trays out and went down the
Yeah,
hill.
yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Or just get hefty bags.
Yeah, I miss that. We don't get that down here.
Yeah, I saw it. In fact, it was funny. One day we did have snow. I was driving back from the paper in Jacksonville off 24, and the embankment on the bridge that leads into Camp Lejeune main gate, you go by it every day. Imagine that. There were parents out there with their kids saucering down that embankment because it goes into that little grassy swale.
Yeah.
Because that's the only hill you got.
We used to take, this is back when they had three-wheelers, remember them? And we had a hill that went out over this pond that was about yay deep, but it would freeze. So we'd get the three-wheeler and jump over the hill, down the hill, and then once you got into the ice, you just lock it up so it would
spin around.
Well, we sunk it. The ice broke.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say about ponds. I was there. We had a lot of ponds and lakes that they would play hockey on throughout the whole winter. But you had
You could do that more up there.
Well, we back then, I mean,
Yeah.
now it's like, and where my wife's from, Wisconsin, where her family's from Wisconsin, they had fish houses. You're talking
about the frozen stuff?
on the
I've
lakes.
always wanted to try that, even though I don't really like fishing, just because it's different.
So what they do is they build
You
a
just
house.
drill a little hole and you have a little shed there over top.
You have a shed over top.
It reminds me of Grumpy Old Men.
You're on the ice, and you cut a hole like this, and then what they do is, and they're going after pike, right? They put a white plate. They drop a white, like a plate from your kitchen, down onto the water's clear, and it goes to the bottom. And then you can see the fish going like that, and they spear them like that. That's how they.
Oh, well, they were on Grumpy Old Men. They were fishing.
Yeah.
They had something in the
No,
hole.
you do that. Well, they can do it. I guess you can do that too. But that to me is, I'm not keen on fishing in warm weather. I'm not going to sit out in a hut. I think there's other
Depends on how warm I am.
I think there's other extracurricular activities that go on inside the hut rather than just waiting for a northern.
I think it probably
has
has It's how I look at some of the other
social.
things. It seems to be more about drinking than it is.
Yeah, I think there is. I think there's a little bit.
Yeah,
of
I won't get
involved.
into that stuff,
Yeah.
but
It's boys out there, playing around in the shade.
Yeah, I guess.
I just would like, I don't know. You think about the ice and what's underneath there, and I like to stay on hard surface. Terra firma.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Ice
Ice hockey.
short.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool.
So anyway.
So we started with Bonanza. And we
ended up on ice hockey.
And we got into ice hockey. And,
go see the Hurricanes.
And Fond du Lac, Wisconsin fishing. So there you go.
Hurricanes will be back soon.
Yeah. Baseball's talking about, now baseball's got a little bit of light, possibly.
Maybe. I still don't believe it.
I think every day it changes.
I don't believe it. Well, I mean,
you know what? I don't really care. I don't really care if baseball does this. I'd almost at this point just say, you know what, we got enough going on. Start fresh and.
If everything happens like it's supposed to, for me as a sports person, August is going to be great.
Yeah. Well, August will be here before you know it, because it's
almost here now.
It's 6 weeks away.
You know what's weird is I was thinking about this the other day. It seems like the older you get,
the faster it goes.
Long time frames seem way shorter. Like something happened 5 years ago seems like it happened last year.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But short time frames seem longer. It's only been 3 months with this thing. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but it
I know,
feels like a year.
That does, but I see the weeks. We were saying this earlier, Ross and I. The weeks just tick off so fast because we bring in guests. The same person comes in on the same appointed day and
Right.
hour. It seems like, God, they seem like they were just here.
But I mean,
which means another week has gone by.
Right.
You know, but yeah,
But the pandemic is March, April, May, June.
4 weeks,
4 months old. It feels like a year.
It does. And it looks like it's a before period and where we are now.
Right.
And there's this lump in the middle of it. Would you say it's 4 months? We had our business expo in Swansboro February 22nd. It seems like
that's what I mean.
An eons
that
ago.
was 5 months ago.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah. And then it stopped around March 11th, and here we are June.
But yet
18th.
I was looking at your Facebook has your memories, and then something came up on mine. And it was 5 years ago. And if you had asked me to go to court, I would have said it was 2 years ago.
Well, I look at stuff that happened like in 1995, right?
Right.
And you do the math, and it's, no, it can't be right. That's
Yeah.
25 years ago.
25 years.
That doesn't sound right.
So,
Right?
I'm old now. I need glasses.
That doesn't sound right. We did that. You printed the story on the Newport cold case. That
45 years.
Yeah. It happened in 1975, and we initially just did the quick math and we put 25 there.
Yeah, because it was 2000.
2000, which is wrong.
That's what
it's
us Gen
45
Xers
years,
do.
and you and I were around 45 years ago, and we knew what we were doing. I mean, we were kids, but
Sort of.
kind of.
Yeah.
Well, hell, I was 13.
Yeah, sort of.
Just told you.
I was 1.
Oh, okay. No, you weren't. You were just entering ECU.
For the first
For
time.
the first time. No, it doesn't sound right. Especially like the 90s to me sounds like it just happened.
Right.
Right. And even like you look at like something that occurred, like they talk about the Great Recession. Mm-hmm. It's 12 years ago.
But think
that
about
doesn't
this.
sound so. But when you say like Bill Clinton was president 28 years ago, he was inaugurated.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like that long ago.
No.
Yeah. Right. It's funny how it's like that. I don't understand. My grandmother told me long time ago when I was probably early high school, enjoy it because when you get out of school, it snowballs.
Yeah, it does.
And of course, you're a kid, you think you know everything. I was like, whatever, Grandma.
Yeah. She's
Grandma
right.
was right.
Because look how fast college goes. Well, for most people, look how fast college goes. Seriously. And I said, look at Karamia Valentine from the Carteret News-Times.
Yeah, I told her.
She's a rising sophomore at Lynn University.
I told her, enjoy it now.
Before we know it, she'll be graduated and maybe grad school, or she'll be in a career.
I told her. I said, the next time you'll look up, you'll be married with a kid working somewhere in the office.
Yeah. And you'll say, "Oh, I'm 10 years out of high school." And that's how fast it goes.
We were talking about high school reunions the other day, and I hadn't been to any of mine, but my neighbor was talking about his. I was like, man, I started doing the math in my head, like, oh my goodness, I got another one coming up. So
19. You're good at math. 79. What is that? 21 plus 20.
Yeah, 41.
Years. Jeez.
So you probably got another 4 years before you have
do a
one.
45 and a 50. 50-year high school
50
reunion.
years.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's just
Holy goodness.
It's stunning. It's stunning.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't. Sometimes I think about. It just doesn't feel like I've been out of school that long.
50. I think my parents 50. What? I was let's go out on that note. We're talking about Bonanza.
Have a good day.
15 years.
We'll see you
Thanks,
soon.
guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.